Viewers, I am here in one of the locations of the most popular shows of the moment. This is Claydon House, and it plays a very special role in part 2 of series 3 of Bridgerton. And as a gentleman that I am, I'm going to show you around and meet some of the people who bring this amazing house to your screen. So let's go over here where we meet General Manager Tanya Britton. Tanya, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome to Claydon.
Thank you very much. I feel very, very at home here already. Now, your job, you oversee quite a lot of these properties right now, don't you?
I do. My team look after several properties in Buckinghamshire, which include a medieval tower, a courthouse, hundreds of acres of historic garden, a pub, 4 temples, and, of course, Claydon.
That's quite the collection of places. And I have to say, like, looking at it, it is... I mean, I'm in awe of it all. And this appears in quite a lot of TV shows and films we may have seen, doesn't it?
Claydon does. This room in particular, this is the saloon, which would have been a room for entertaining anyway, full of music, full of dance. But most recently, it transformed into the throne room for Cinderella.
Okay.
So a huge platform was created against this wall, 2 thrones for Minnie Driver and Pierce Brosnan.
Stop. Really?
Yeah,
OK.
Yeah, so that was quite special. And then prior to that, Michael Sheen walked through this door.
Where?
This was his... Right here.
OK.
You can follow in his footsteps.
I will.
This was his country residence in Far From the Madding Crowd.
OK, OK.
So that's just this room, and just recently, if I show you into the North Hall, which is another party room, it's actually where we have our staff party at Christmas. What a privilege.
I love this door, by the way.
These doors are fantastic, and every door in Claydon is totally unique.
No way.
It's so special.
OK.
But this room is where the iconic ballroom scene from Emma was filmed, and you'd recognise the backdrop there.
Yeah.
And the grand staircase in the background, which we don't allow anybody to walk up and down, but we did allow Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, OK.
In her socks.
No, only in her socks?
In her socks, yeah.
So if people are ever walking down there, it's only socks, we don't see their feet?
The marquetry is so fragile, and we have to look after the things in our care, so we occasionally let somebody very special walk up and down it in their socks.
Like Gwyneth Paltrow. I love little tidbits like that. Thank you, Tanya. Now, you've just mentioned some of the conservation work that you've been doing here, which brings us very nicely on to someone else who does a lot of that. Sally, hello. Now, you are a filming conservator for the National Trust.
I am, yes.
So tell us what that job's about.
So as a filming conservator, I'm brought on board in order to support the house team prepare for the 250 additional people that will be coming on site when they start shooting. So that's everything from removing the collection from the rooms, either because they're too fragile to stay in position or just because the director doesn't want them visible. And then when the crew arrive, then it's supervising all the filming activities. So seeing the lights being rigged, seeing the rooms being dressed and seeing the external areas being dressed as well. And it's really exciting to have projects like Bridgerton, but it is a sort of marriage of 2 very different worlds. So you've got the very slow, sort of measured pace of filming, and then you've got the fast, kind of dynamic world of filming. But it is really lovely to see Claydon having the spotlight on it.
It really is. And tell us about this room, the North Hall. What is it about historically?
So this is the North Hall. This would have been, or it still is, the entrance hall, the main entrance hall to the building. But at one point, it was actually the great eating room, although apparently only 1 meal was ever served in here.
Oh, waste.
I know. But this is also a really good introduction to Luke Lightfoot, who is the master craftsman from the 18th century, and he is responsible for all the amazing details that you see in the woodwork.
I've been looking at a lot of the architecture. It's very impressive. And your job involves protecting everything in here from the ceiling to the floors, and you involve using this. So how do you do that?
So for the floors, we use hundreds of loco mats, which have a rubber back, and then they have an absorbent layer. So it means if there are any spills, then it doesn't reach the historic floor beneath it.
OK.
And then these we will use typically on our historic doors to make sure that they don't get damaged.
Right.
These we can use on banisters, architrave, and then we can also use them on the sides of tables.
Oh, so camera ups don't scratch your back to them?
Yes,
Okay.
and then they're just whipped off, just just before they start shooting.
Okay.
And then we also ask our props department to use these felt pads, and these will go under all the props, whether they're going on the mantelpiece or chairs that are going on the floor. And it just means that if they are used practically, then we don't have any abrasion again to our floors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about these tennis balls here?
This is a really good example of how simple it is to protect our historic environment.
Okay.
So these just go on the feet of pieces of technical equipment, again, to protect our floors.
And I want to say, even we here at Morning Live, we've adhered to the rules here. We've been using this on all our kits. We actually did take these tennis balls from Geffin's paddle kit, so don't tell him. And this as well, you say this covers up the alarms?
Yes, so these will be used to disguise any modern features in the room. So they will just be placed over and then obviously taken off at night so that we can set the alarms.
That's all very cool, Sally.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Now, what about people who, you know, they don't have to wait to see these amazing locations on their screen. They can actually come here and experience it for themselves as well.
They can come to Claydon and see this room, which is going to be featuring in the new series, in the new part 2 of the series. They can also visit Basildon Park, which is where Colin and Penelope have their first kiss.
Stop it. We all know that scene.
I know, it's really iconic. So yes, you can visit there, and you can also visit places like Stowe, which have had 2 shoots there of James Bond.
It's a lot of variety for film fans then.
Yeah.
And you can also go to the Morning Live website as well, bbc.co.uk/Morning Live for more information there as well. But Sally, thank you so much for showing me around my new manor as Lord Stevenson. I can get used to this place, I have to say. Bring out the carriages.